37 degrees here in Cincinnati. It's been wet all week, so it cleared up for this matchup between the Steelers and the Bengals. And before we get things started, let's send it down to the field. Bring in the third member of our crew, Jenny Dell.
Well, after that jarring loss week 10, that Thursday night loss against the Browns, Cincinnati has gone on to win 3 consecutive road games. And how they do that? Well, Cincinnati's head coach Marvin Lewis told me that in that loss, they're able to take a step back and reevaluate the situation. He also said that players on both sides of the ball stepped up in leadership roles. Offensively, it was Andy Dalton. Defensively, Domata Petco. Now, Andy Dalton told me that it's easy to become somewhat complacent during practices halfway through that season, but that Cleveland game, that woke this team up. They were able to refocus their energy, intensify practice, and they haven't lost a game since. Ian?
And they've gotten it done, Jenny, in December in recent years. 10-2 in their last 12 December games. Cincinnati won the toss. They have deferred to the second half. So the Bengals will kick it off with Mike Nugent. Marcus Wheaton is the deep man for Pittsburgh. He's averaging just over 25 yards per return. We're underway from Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals hosting the Steelers. It's a touchback. Pittsburgh will have it at the 20-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger leads this Pittsburgh offense. He is averaging a career-high 308.8 yards per game through the air.
Yeah, there was some concern about banging his right wrist last week against New Orleans. He assured us that the wrist is fine. Last week's game was just one of those days that all of us veteran quarterbacks have had. He figured out why he's off target. Feels that given time to throw today, the Steeler passing game should be in good shape.
First play from scrimmage from the 20. Steelers will open up empty backfield with Roethlisberger out of the gun. Big numbers at home. Numbers have not been as good on the road. Pump fake and a throw, and he gets Antonio Brown involved right away, leading the NFL in receptions and receiving yards. They pick up 6 on first down. Starting offense for the Steelers, Mike Adams once again filling in for the injured Marcus Gilbert, out with an ankle injury. Backs and receivers, all these weapons that Roethlisberger has. Sometimes you forget about Heath Miller. So dependable year in and year out, having another excellent season at that tight end spot. 2nd and 4 for Pittsburgh. 2 tight ends with Miller and Spink. Handed off. Le'Veon Bell turns the corner and he's got a first down. Driven down by Vincent Ray. 6-yard gain. Will Johnson with a key block.
Now Will Johnson from the wing spot here, and he also will follow David DeCastro around that left side. DeCastro gets the edge and the kick-out block on Maaluga by Will Johnson, and it's an important first down for the Steelers to get rolling.
2nd in the NFL in rushing. Le'Veon Bell behind DeMarco Murray of Dallas. So new set of downs for Steelers to work with. First drive of the day. 1st and 10 from the 32. Give it to Bell. Le'Veon Bell keeps the legs churning, brings it across the 35 for a 5-yard pickup. Defensively for Cincinnati, Domata Petco is not 100%. He's been dealing with an elbow injury. Linebackers, Vincent Ray has stepped in the absence of Vontaze Burfict. Burfict continuing to sit with a knee problem. And in the secondary, the veteran Terrence Newman. First interception of the season last week in his 12th year in the league. Marvin Lewis, the second longest tenured coach in the NFL behind Bill Belichick. Now in his 12th year as the head man of the Bengals. 2nd and 5 for the Steelers. Miller the motion man, running play, Bell again. Bell gets stamped right at the line of scrimmage. Bell unable to break free from Terrence Newman. Steelers talked about how the secondary really helps in run support. We just saw it there.
Check out Ray Maaluga, middle linebacker. He's going to hit Bell right as he thinks he's got a little bit of daylight there, but the tackle, kind of a statement tackle to start the game by the veteran middle linebacker.
Mike Tomlin is 10 and 4 in his career against Cincinnati, including a 6 and 2 mark on the road. Steelers facing their first 3rd down. It's a 3rd and 5. Roethlisberger sets up the screen. Catch made by Bryant. Nowhere to go. Newman and Ray sniffed it out for no gain, and the Steelers will punt.
It's really tough to throw a wide receiver screen against press coverage and man-to-man coverage, which the Bengals were in that time. As soon as the catch was made, there was plenty of Bengals there to prevent the first down.
Brad Wing, first-year punter from LSU, will punt to the dangerous Adam Jones. Last week, Jones had his first fair catch since 2006. He's number 5 in punt return average, 11.7. And this is returnable. Jones takes the lane, cuts it to the outside, chopped down across the 40-yard line. Cincinnati will have excellent field position to open up. Terrence Garvin with the play on special teams. Andy Dalton will lead the Cincinnati offense onto the field when we come back. Andy Dalton, a shaky first half last week. He was ill overnight. Intravenous fluids. Had about 3 bags of them Sunday morning before the Tampa Bay game, but still came through with a victory. Throws on first down and connects. Working that sideline, A.J. Green for a 7-yard reception. Starting offense for Cincinnati, some changes here. We saw a little bit of it last week with Clint Bowling moving over to the right side and Mike Pollock stepping in at left guard. Backs and receivers, A.J. Green, 19 100-yard games in his career, 2 of them in the month of December. 6 offensive linemen here for Cincinnati on a 2nd and 3. Running play. Up the middle, Bernard. And he has enough for the first down. Steve McClendon in on that stop for Pittsburgh.
And the Bengals go with a unbalanced line. They shift Andrew Whitworth over to the right side and then ran away from it. Weak side picked up the first down.
Cincinnati in Pittsburgh territory. Dalton will toss it out to Green. Stiff arm. Green knocks down Ike Taylor on the play. Out of bounds. It's a modest game, but it gets the crowd energized. Troy Polamalu over there.
Well, this is going to be a physical war today. There's no question about that. Ike Taylor way off, but A.J. Green with a good left-handed stiff arm. Polamalu hits him on his way out of bounds.
Quick hitter. And they work it to Green once again. 4-yard pickup. Jarvis Jones is now in there for Pittsburgh. Jones injured back in week 3. He was activated off IR, designated for return. He's been out with a right wrist injury. So Pittsburgh looking for a lift. No James Harrison. He is inactive. Played 1 year with the Bengals. Harrison back with the Steelers, but he's out today with a knee injury. Brandon Tate as the 3rd receiver for Cincinnati. This is a 3rd and 2 for the Bengals trying to keep this drive alive.
Block! Yeah.
Bernard sets up to the side of Dalton. He fires right through the hands of Gresham. Incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Now Lawrence Timmons on the coverage. Dalton with pass protection. And that's just a whiff there. Didn't look like Gresham had his head around anticipating that pass. One thing about Dalton, he will get rid of the ball in a hurry. Perhaps he was in too much of a hurry that time for Gresham.
Antonio Brown, the return man. Kevin Huber, who had a nightmare against the Steelers the last time these 2 teams met. And here's a fake. The ball squirts loose. Jumped on. Cincinnati comes away with it. Nico Johnson on the recovery.
Yeah, it's a direct snap to Cedric Pierman, and Pierman is basically short, but this is a 4th down fumble. And on a 4th down fumble, the fumbler has to recover the ball.
In an advance of the spot. Therefore, the ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. It is short of a first down. Pittsburgh will take possession.
That's the 4th down fumble rule. Pierman was short of the first down when he fumbled the ball and fumbles it forward. Nico Johnson wisely jumps on top of it. But as you heard from Tony Corrente, this is Pittsburgh ball.
Cincinnati tried an onside kick in the 3rd quarter last week. It didn't work against Tampa Bay, but Special teams coach Darren Simmons in his 11th year is not shy about taking some risks and chances. Off the fake punt. They didn't get the first down, so the Steelers take over. Drop ball, Le'Veon Bell. He had Vincent Ray lurking.
Well, watch the direct snap to Pierman. And this is his first career fumble. He stopped here short of the first down. The ball comes out, recovered by Nico Johnson. But because Pierman did not have enough for the first down when he fumbled, it's Pittsburgh ball in great field position to start this drive.
Second and 10 for Pittsburgh from the Steeler 40-yard line. It's a pitch. Le'Veon Bell falls forward and picks up a yard on the play. Ray involved in the stop for Cincinnati.
That's two good plays by Vincent Ray. He knocked the ball out of Le'Veon Bell's hands on a first down pass, and now with the tackle on second down.
Steelers going no huddle. 3rd and 9 for Pittsburgh. We hit 9 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Bengals crowd the line. Steelers number 3 in the NFL in total offense, over 417 yards per game. Looking at single coverage right now for Antonio Brown. Will Roethlisberger look that way? Locks in. Deep ball for Brown. Gets his hand on it, but incomplete. Terrence Newman back there.
Good call, Ian. You saw the single coverage with Newman. And Roethlisberger throws this ball maybe a foot too far. Just one hand is all that Brown can get on it. Newman right on his back. Good tight coverage and a throw that you'd want to have back. This is a huge play for Pittsburgh if it's connected.
So it's Brad Wing once again for the Steelers to punt it. This time Brandon Tate is the deep man. Tate cuts it upfield, spilled out across the 20-yard line. On special teams, Michael Palmer, a backup tight end. 47-yard punt, 8-yard return, no score in Cincinnati. Thursday, Larry Fitzgerald and the first-place Cardinals take on the Rams. The playoff chase heats up. Thursday night football at 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, live on NFL Network. Cincinnati takes over 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Working out of the pistol, Jeremy Hill is in. Rookie out of LSU carries it for a gain of 4. Andy Dalton, 3 years in the NFL, 3 playoff berths. Talked about this young core all over the offense. That includes Dalton. We tend to forget he's only in his 4th year.
Yeah, he's really taken, obviously, the leadership role. He wants his teammates to remember they won the AFC North last year, and they're in commanding position to win it again this year.
Cincinnati 8-3-1, a game-and-a-half lead over the rest of the division. Dalton hooks up underneath. Jeremy Hill with a catch brought down by Sean Spence. 4-yard gain for Cincinnati. Well, Jenny talked about it prior to kickoff. Disaster against Cleveland. Since that point, numbers have been better, and obviously the success comes in wins and losses. 3 wins in a row.
I think having Bernard back healthy has helped Dalton and this offense.
This is their first home game since that 24-3 loss to Cleveland. Jeremy Hill looking for the first down. Jarvis Jones gets him down low, and he is short.
Yeah, 2 trick plays now for the Bengals, and both of them backfire. Look at this formation they come out in. Just 3 offensive linemen. Everybody else spread out wide with a wide receivers. The Steelers stay at home. Jarvis Jones with a tackle there, and it's good for the Steelers to have the former high pick back in the lineup for them.
Kevin Huber on the punt it. Broke his jaw. Cracked vertebrae against the Steelers last December. Having his best season. Number 1 net punting average, 44.1. It's a big punt. Brown backpedals. Brown makes his move upfield. Another cut by Brown. And he is dropped at the 20-yard line by Cedric Pierman. 58-yard punt and a 7-yard return. We remain scoreless. Aerial coverage of today's game is brought to you by MetLife. Pittsburgh Steelers have been outscored 57-16 in divisional road games this season. Week 2 at Baltimore, Week 6 at Cleveland. Handed off to Le'Veon Bell. Pile is pushed for a gain of 2.
Well, according to offensive coordinator Todd Haley, Roethlisberger had 8 misses in the first half last week against New Orleans, 12 in the game, and it was basically a mechanical problem with Roethlisberger. Opening too wide, overstriding, and dropping his elbow. He corrected those things later in the game, and he felt that he was back on target.
Handed off. Le'Veon Bell's got a first down across the 30-yard line. Roethlisberger was hit on the wrist, right on the side of his right wrist. He said he lost feeling in 2 of his fingers, and he said it kind of felt like he was hit in the funny bone, if you've ever felt that experience. But then he regained feeling and told us he was doing just fine.
Yeah, the little finger and the ring finger went numb, but he shook it out, and as you said, Ian, he told us he's 100%, and he looks it.
First and 10 at the 31. Le'Veon Bell's got some room. Bell with those long strides. First down. Miller and Spaeth creating extra space for an 18-yard gain for Bell.
Well, Matt Spaeth with really a key block here. Watch Spaeth here. Again, he's leading. We saw this same type of play earlier with Heath Miller leading the way. Good block by Spaeth, and then there's that speed and explosion by Bell.
Le'Veon Bell, first Steeler in team history with over 1,000 yards rushing, 500 yards receiving. Gets hit hard behind the line of scrimmage. Gang tackling from Cincinnati. That was a big key that the Bengals talked about in trying to deal with Bell. It's a loss of 2.
And you look at the numbers of the last 2 games. The amazing thing about Bell is that a lot of teams have a combination like of Bernard and Hill. Well, Bell is it for the Steelers after Garrett Blunt was dismissed. Then Bell, the only guy gaining yards for the Steelers in the running back position.
Mike Tomlin said Bell is a back for all situations. He's been everything that they hoped he would be. Deep drop. Roethlisberger has the time. Slings it out. Matt Spaeth gets hit immediately as he turned upfield. That's another play from Vincent Ray in his 4th year out of Duke.
Great coverage by this secondary. Look at all the time that Roethlisberger has. Great shot there by Vincent Ray. Matt Spaeth with his 2nd catch of the year. But he hung on to the ball as Ray came in with a helmet trying to dislodge it.
Vincent Ray has taken advantage of the playing opportunity with the injury to Vontaze Burfict. Before that, now Aluga was out. Simultaneous with Burfict, Cincinnati was banged up in that linebacking core. This is a 3rd and 9 for Pittsburgh. 3.5 to play in the first. Roethlisberger lets it fly. Incomplete, trying to hit Bell in stride, and it's Ray shadowing him. 4th down.
Now, Vincent Ray's been all over the field for the Bengals in this first quarter. Again, nobody in Roethlisberger's face, and the ball just off target again. Bell had a step on Ray. It might have been able to outrun him for the first down.
Once again, Brandon Tate waiting for the punt. He's standing at his own 8-yard line. Brad Wing averaging 43.5 yards per kick. That ball does take a Pittsburgh roll. Out of bounds, rolls to the tune of 36 yards. These 2 teams still looking to get on the board. Vote now for the 2015 Pro Bowl. It's fantasy football for real. Select the best players at every position, regardless of conference, either online or on your mobile device at NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. The throw from Dalton down the line. A.J. Green fights for extra yards. And a first down for Cincinnati, 12 yards through the air.
Well, Dalton and the Bengals are testing Ike Taylor. This is 4 catches now. All quick type of plays, trying to set up perhaps a double move later on. That double move just burned Taylor last week against the Saints.
Taylor had a tough time defending Kenny Stills in New Orleans in this 8 games with a broken right forearm. Give it off to Bernard, the redirect, and the acceleration for a 3-yard pickup. William Gay, first man there for Pittsburgh. Some pushing and shoving at the end of the play. The officials break it up with Gresham in the middle of it.
Now Steve McClendon too is the nose tackle, and he and Gresham were wrestling all the way over at the Pittsburgh sideline. neither player willing to give an inch. Bodine in there as well.
2nd and 7 for Cincinnati. We come up on 2 minutes to play in the first, and the play clock winding down. Andy Dalton will use a timeout. Cincinnati's first charge timeout will step aside late stages, opening quarter. Well, Dan, that little skirmish actually cost Cincinnati a timeout. They didn't have enough time to work with to get their play going.
Well, once the tackle's made, the play clock is started for the next play. Well, the skirmish went on and on for about 15-20 seconds, which ate up half of the play clock. So by the time Dalton gets to the line of scrimmage, he has no time to work with and was forced to use a timeout. There's the play clock being started and the skirmish continuing.
So 2nd and 7, Cincinnati has 2 timeouts. Play action. Dalton steps up, in trouble. He is dropped. Arthur Moats gets to the quarterback for the sack. Pittsburgh hasn't had a lot of them this season, just the 22nd sack of the year for Pittsburgh. They're 26th in the NFL.
Well, and Dalton's only been sacked 14 times before that. Moat picks up his 3rd of the season. Right now, this is a very defensive AFC North game.
3rd and 10. Pittsburgh will have to go the rest of the season without veteran Brett Kiesel. Left triceps injury has been placed on IR. Kiesel, the 13-year veteran, all of those years in black and gold. Play clock is down to 2. Working out of the gun, Dalton on a 3rd and 10. Underneath, Gresham didn't get nearly enough yards. Give him 4.5 on the play. Ike Taylor and Vince Williams combined to bring him down, and Cincinnati will punt yet again.
And Hugh Jackson, offensive coordinator, trying everything with formations and personnel and trick plays in the first quarter. That time, Mohamed Sanu lining up as a halfback. But the Steelers playing a lot of zone on that 3rd and 10.
Kevin Huber punting, now in his 6th year with the Bengals. Antonio Brown waits for it at the 19-yard line of Pittsburgh. They bring the rush. Huber gets it off. Brown moves forward. Fair catch. Hauled in at the 25-yard line after the 43-yard punt. Tomorrow on CBS, fast cars, a star basketball player, military school cadets, and a serial killer have something in common. Find out what on a mysterious new episode of NCIS Los Angeles. That's tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. Downtown in the background here at Paul Brown Stadium, which opened back in 2000, known as the Jungle. Not a lot of offense here in the Jungle so far. Neither team has converted on 3rd down. We've got 46 seconds left in the opening quarter. Le'Veon Bell sets up next to Roethlisberger. Pump. The throw. It's caught. Spaeth with another grab. I'm not sure he was part of the scouting report as he came in with just 1 catch on the season. That one covers 11 yards.
Now you can see Roethlisberger faked the wide receiver screen to the other side of the field and came back to a most unlikely target in Spaeth. 2 catches in the first quarter after only having 1 all season before this.
Really known as a blocker in his 2nd stint with Pittsburgh, brief stay with Chicago. Roethlisberger knocked up in the air. Incomplete. Newman got a piece. Martavis Bryant, the talented rookie from Clemson, the intended target.
Terrence Newman with a wonderful read on this ball. The play fake does not fool him. He sees the route the whole way and breaks in front of Martavis Bryant. Bryant, a big receiver at 6'4", 211, but the experience of the 12-year veteran. Great play.
Roethlisberger told us Bryant has showed flashes, but they have to remind themselves he's only a rookie. He will do a lot of rookie things, but there are moments where he is a difference maker. Handed off to Bell. Le'Veon Bell picks up 4 yards on the final play of this first quarter. Stalemate so far, the Steelers and the Bengals. First meeting of the season between these two teams, AFC North rivals going head-to-head in Cincinnati. End of the first quarter, no score between the Steelers and the Bengals. We'll return to Paul Brown Stadium after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second quarter here in Cincinnati, and modest numbers to say the least in that first quarter from both offenses. Steelers face a 3rd and 6 to open up the second. Wheaton, the motion man, pistol for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger, little floater, sets it up for Wheaton. He's got a first down. Marcus Wheaton's got more. Wheaton, the second-year wideout from Oregon State. Ben Roethlisberger really trusts him and believes that his speed is underrated.
Well, he hasn't had a whole lot of experience. Was injured a lot last year. 42 catches now in the season for him. But this is what I like. Not willing to go out of bounds after making a good play down the field, looking for extra yardage, and he gets it because of his speed and his quickness.
Had 5 catches last week, 61 yards in that loss to New Orleans. Most points that the Steelers have allowed this season, 35 against the Saints. Just underway in the second quarter. Once again, the pistol for Roethlisberger. Sets up the deep ball. Wide open. Lance Moore, the former Saint. Deep in Cincinnati territory. Roethlisberger on time on a 29-yard hookup.
Well, Moore is in the slot, and down the sideline will be Martavis Bryant, and he's going to clear things out for him. You see Bryant taking the corner deep, and before Iloka can come over and pick up Moore, Roethlisberger with great pass protection again, and a strike to Moore. 6 completions out of 5 different receivers for Big Ben.
Line of scrimmage is the 15. Steelers try to strike first. It's a pitch for Bell. Le'Veon Bell breaks 1 tackle and picks up 3 yards on the play. Terrence Newman over there to make the stop for Cincinnati.
Le'Veon Bell now 10 rushes, 47 yards. For just a second-year player playing with veteran savvy. Almost seems to come to a stop at times before he hits the hole.
Roethlisberger said that Bell is the best all-around back in the NFL. He'll be the top fantasy pick next year. That was according to Ben. He said his patience is incredible. 2nd and 7. And there it is, the stutter step move from Bell. 4-yard pickup, inching closer to a first down. Roethlisberger also mentioned there are times where he'll hand the ball off to Bell and he'll find himself watching him instead of carrying out the play.
And I think defense is just kind of, when he stuttered steps like that, pauses like that, I think they do too. Creates a little bit of a gap with his acceleration and power. Remember, he's 225 pounds.
8th play of the drive. This is a 3rd and 3 for Pittsburgh. Working out of the gun, Roethlisberger. 5 receiver set. Roethlisberger over the middle. The catch and the acceleration by Bell. Steelers want the touchdown. They're not going to get it. Reggie Nelson just saved it. 7 yards on the completion.
Yeah, it was a safety blitz by Iloka and middle linebacker Ray Maluga. Roethlisberger read it, got the ball out quickly, and Bell trying to split tacklers to get to the end zone. Gets close. Not worth a challenge when the ball is 6 inches away from the goal line.
Boy, it was close though on the extension by Bell. 3 tight ends for Pittsburgh. Steelers trying to get on the board first. Tight formation. Fake it. Roethlisberger the flip. Touchdown! Heath Miller! Roethlisberger delivers a strike. And the Steelers take the lead here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's just the 3rd catch for a touchdown for Heath Bell this year, but Emmanuel Lemur is going to get pulled in on that fake and leave Heath Miller wide open.
9 plays, 75 yards. Miller didn't have anyone near him. Lemur, the closest Bengal to him. 2-time Pro Bowler Heath Miller has put the Steelers in front. Extra point from Suiza. 11:17 to play. We're in the second quarter here in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh Steelers trying to make things even more interesting in the AFC North. Steelers with a 7-0 advantage on the Bengals. 1-yard touchdown catch for Heath Miller, capping off that 9-play, 75-yard drive for the Steelers. For Ben Roethlisberger, that is 27 touchdowns this season. 7 on the road. Adam Jones lost it for a moment and lost the opportunity for a run back.
Let's go back to the touchdown, and you can see this is exactly what you want play action to do. As the fake comes in here, watch Lemur crash down and leave Heath Miller wide open in the flat. And it's an easy pitch and catch for Roethlisberger and his veteran tight end. But when you're 6 inches away from the goal line, that's when your play action fake to Le'Veon Bell is going to be most effective.
Cincinnati beat the Steelers here at home last season, so the Bengals are looking for back-to-back home wins over Pittsburgh for the first time since 88-90 when they won 3 in a row. A.J. Green with another grab. That's a 9-yard catch. Ike Taylor drawing the coverage. He's been on him exclusively throughout the day.
And he's been playing him soft. I mean, there's no question about that. 5 catches now for just 35 yards, but they do bring up a very enticing 2nd and short for Dalton.
2nd and 1. Give it to Hill. He's got enough first down to move the chains. 2-yard pickup for the rookie Hill. Now so far a struggle on offense for Marvin Lewis's team. They had just 288 yards last week in that win over Tampa Bay, but allowed just 263 against the Buccaneers. 14-13 victory. First down for the Bengals. Fake it. Deep ball. Dalton looking for it all. A.J. Green spinning away. Brought down inside the 15. Polamalu and Mitchell splitting defenders on the long ball. 51 yards.
Well, finally they're going to go deep to A.J. Green. In the slot that time against Polamalu. Polamalu looking for help from Mike Mitchell. Both safeties late as that ball was in the air for a long time. And it's a huge play for the Bengals to get it inside the red zone.
1st and 10 at the 13 of Pittsburgh. Giovanni Bernard the carry.
Polamalu looking for help because I don't think he ever saw where the ball was. Never really with his eyes up in the air to see where the ball's coming down. He saw that Green was in front of him, but never could locate the ball.
Green now with 6 catches, 91 yards in the first half, looking for his 20th career 100-yard game.
He had 6 catches last week against the Bengals. I mean, the Buccaneers.
2nd and 7. Fake the handoff. Dalton throws. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. Jermaine Gresham. The Bengals get the equalizer.
And again, it's a play-action fake by Dalton to Giovanni Bernard. And Gresham with good speed to the corner. Watch him get out there. The fake pulls up William Gay. Wide open in the back of the end zone. Nobody's covering the tight ends today.
Dalton 3 of 3 on that drive. 75 yards passing. He's now 9 of 10 overall for 110 yards. And the touchdown to Gresham. Gresham's 3rd of the season. Extra point from Nugent. We are tied at 7. Andy Dalton now has 14 touchdowns in the season with 13 interceptions. Bengals right back to the answer. The action is picked up here in the 2nd quarter after a quiet first quarter. 2 long drives, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. We're tied at 7, 9:06 to play in this first half. Nugent kicks it off. Marcus Wheaton is deep. And this will be a touchback. Steelers will have it at the 20-yard line.
A real good job by Gresham here. Watch, he's going to block on Worlds and then release to the corner. Again, it's play action faking and tight ends getting open. This is not the way you want to catch the ball, but the important thing is he did catch it. You want to have your little fingers together, not your thumbs together. The ball almost sneaks out of his hands there. But that's his third touchdown catch of the season for Jermaine Gresham.
So each team's main tight end getting into the end zone. 7 apiece. Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Roethlisberger has really been spreading it around. 7 different receivers on his 8 completions. Roethlisberger steps up, throws it underneath to Bell. Le'Veon Bell creating after the catch. Slips down and just short of a 1st down.
Another catch for Le'Veon Bell came in as the Steelers' second leading receiver with 65 catches.
Well, you mentioned Le'Veon Bell's weight. Mike Tomlin says that Bell is down 20 pounds from his final year of college, but is stronger than he was as Bell gets devoured in the backfield, and a little extra something from Emmanuel Lemur. Geno Atkins in on that stop. Let's send it downstairs. More on Bell from Jenny Dell.
Lion, there were questions about Le'Veon Bell's workload. He played all but 2 of the Steelers' 90 offensive snaps against the Saints, a career-high 33 carries the week before that. But head coach Mike Tomlin told us he's not worried. Bell is highly conditioned, mentally tough, and built for this game.
And Jenny, he already has the most receptions in a season by a Steelers running back. Bell now with 67 catches this year. He's got a chance to go for 1,000 yards receiving in addition to his 1,000 yards rushing. Over the middle, broken up. Miller and Vincent Ray in a battle.
Well, this is what a lot of people are questioning, the accuracy of Roethlisberger. This ball thrown slightly behind Heath Miller. He's got to reach back, and that's exactly where Vinny Ray is to take his left hand and keep Miller from making that grab. Ball out in front, it's an easy reception.
Brad Wing punting. Adam Jones goes back, couldn't find it. Ball continues to roll, and they can't get to it. Cincinnati fortunate it will come back to the 20. Antoine Blake downfield for the Steelers, just a little late. Guys in New York getting ready for the Verizon halftime report. We are experiencing a working shot. That's what we call in the business a working shot. They are working, preparing for all the halftime highlights.
I'm just glad they don't see us.
Maybe they do, Dan. Verizon halftime report is coming up. And Jeremy Hill, big gain. Hill caught from behind. Brought down at the 35-yard line. That's 15 yards. Jason Worlds on the chase down.
And he showed us the same type of hesitation and acceleration that Le'Veon Bell showed us. Much as he comes to the hole, lets the blocking develop there. Whitworth pulling from his left tackle spot, gets out in front. That's the best running play for the Bengals this afternoon.
First down for Cincinnati at the 35. Dalton pulls the trigger. And hit along the sideline is Gresham by Mike Mitchell. 8-yard gain. Cincinnati 18th in total offense, 18th in the NFL in scoring.
Yeah, Gresham just likes catching the ball with his hands in that type of position. Lucky that Mitchell didn't rip it out, but he did make the catch, and it's close to a first down.
Cincinnati enters action a half game behind Denver and New England for the top spot in the AFC. 11-5 last year to win the division title. Give it to Hill, the 1-2 punch. Hill getting the carriage. We've seen Giovanni Bernard. That's a 5-yard gain. Dan, the last time the Bengals had 2 running backs with over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, got to go back to 1988. James Brooks and Ickey Woods.
James Brooks, a former teammate of mine in San Diego. We traded him to Cincinnati for Pete Johnson. I'm not sure why.
Deep ball, a battle, intercepted. William Gay comes away with it in a matchup with Brandon Tate. Gay is spun down across the 20. The Bengals turn it over.
A great job by William Gay, not biting on the first move of the wide receiver. We got a flag down.
Automatic first down.
And this whole thing will be negated by the penalty against the Steelers. Steelers only had 8 interceptions all year. Needed that great play by Gay.
5:53 mark of this second quarter. Tony Corrente, the call, illegal use of hands. Dick LeBeau's defense has not been opportunistic this season.
After the conclusion of the play, there was also a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on Cincinnati number 84. By rule, both of these penalties will offset and will replay first down.
So Cincinnati retains it in a 7-7 tie with Pittsburgh. Under 6 minutes to go in this first half.
Both coaches upset for obvious reasons. But William Gay, really a fine play on the outside, wrestling the ball away. All for naught.
We talked to William Gay about Dalton. He said he's a rhythm thrower. He gets rid of it quickly. You have to stay tight with the wide receivers because of that timing. From the 49, Cincinnati with a 1st and 10. Handed off to Hill. Nice jump step by Hill, turns it into a 2-yard pickup. Jarvis Jones combining with Cam Thomas and Lawrence Timmons on the play for Pittsburgh.
You get the feeling of watching the last couple of formations for the Bengals that Hugh Jackson is trying to get A.J. Green isolated on Troy Polamalu as he did earlier in this quarter. That led to the touchdown. That time it was man-to-man, Polamalu and Green.
Got a lot of connections between these two teams. You saw Dick LeBeau, he was the head coach of the Bengals from 2000 to 2002. He's from London, Ohio. Played, of course, a star at Ohio State. Dalton, fortunate that it wasn't intercepted by Gay. Again, it's Gay defending Brandon Tate, this time on the other side of the field.
Well, he talked about how he has studied Dalton, the rhythm of the passing game, knowing it's going to come out quick. He broke on the route, got his left hand in there to knock it away, and Dalton and the Bengals lucky that Gay wasn't there a little bit sooner, or he would have picked that one off.
Talked about the LeBeau connection. Marvin Lewis, former assistant coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's where he broke into the NFL, coaching the linebackers. 3rd and 8 under Bill Cowher. Dalton on a line to A.J. Green. Green goes over 100 yards for the day.
And he beats double coverage that time. Linebacker Jason World's trying to take away that slant route, but Green got inside him in front of Ike Taylor for another catch.
Older corners, experienced corners. Dalton throwing to the outside. Greg Little, the former Brown, able to create something there, working the sideline, and picks up 6 yards on the play. They have not drafted a cornerback in the first round, the Steelers, since 1997, Chad Scott. Their focus in the draft has been in other areas, defensive line, linebackers, but they've gone a different route in the secondary.
Yeah, it's time to change that philosophy and maybe copy their rival, the Bengals, who have a whole bunch of first-round picks as defensive backs and corners.
5 first-round picks on the Bengals roster at the cornerback position.
Full start, offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Yeah, it's Russell Bodine.
Yeah, it's tough to have a false start with your center, who should know what the snap count is. Watch this little flinch right there, and that'll draw a flag. Tried to mask it by snapping it soon, and a little chagrin on both faces of the center and the coach.
And it's the first charged penalty of the day. We have under 4 minutes to go in this second quarter. Steelers and Bengals are tied at 7. Pittsburgh at 7-5. Cincinnati at 8-3-1. A game-and-a-half lead in the tight AFC North. 2nd and 9. Dalton pumps, throws underneath. Hill's got room. Jeremy Hill hit at the 20-yard line. It's another first down. Mike Pollock with a block out front, 15-yard gain.
Really a well-designed play by Hugh Jackson, faking the wide receiver screen to the strong side, coming back to Jeremy Hill all by himself on the weak side. And the Bengals are executing their pass offense extremely well right now as we've got an injury.
It is Ike Taylor, who missed 8 games with a broken right forearm. They are checking on Taylor. We'll step aside.
Hey, watch him, Kevin.
Looked like a helmet-to-helmet hit. Ike Taylor on the receiving end. He's on the Pittsburgh sideline, and Cincinnati's got a 1st and 10, ninth play of the drive for the Bengals. Counted down to 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. Antoine Blake is in. Dalton throws offline. A.J. Green, the intended target.
Well, with Ike Taylor out, the assignment is now William Gaze to shadow A.J. Green. He does another super job there. Dalton saw that tight coverage and let the ball just go out of bounds, not risking an interception.
And Taylor returns for Pittsburgh. Dalton is 13 of 16, 152 yards and a touchdown. He had an interception called back. Second and 10 for Cincinnati.
Hey,
Hill in the backfield. And it's Dalton keeping it himself. Andy Dalton takes it all the way. Touchdown, Bengals. Dalton with a dash. Cincinnati in front.
Now he scored last week against Tampa Bay 4 times now. He's rushed for a touchdown. This is a beauty. There goes Worlds with a fake to Hill, and there's nobody in the secondary for Dalton as he goes in untouched.
That is his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. 10 plays, 80 yards for the Bengals. It took 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Nugent on for the extra point. Andy Dalton showing off the speed. 14-7, Bengals.
Now you forget about his athletic ability and speed sometimes, but he read that perfectly and got in with ease.
Andy Dalton, that 20-yard touchdown run is the longest touchdown run in his 4-year career. Having a chat with offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson, first year calling the plays for Cincinnati, former head coach of the Oakland Raiders for a season back in 2011. Nugent kicks it off. Wheaton will take it out of the end zone 3 yards deep. Stood up at the 15-yard line on special teams.
Let's check out how the fake right here to Hill affects 2 guys. Linebacker Worlds and safety Polamalu. Great fake here as he rides Hill, pulls the ball out, and now he's eyeing Worlds. He sees Worlds disappear, and all he sees after that is the goal line.
Steelers gave up 5 touchdown passes last week against New Orleans, the most touchdown passes they've allowed in a game since giving up 6 back in 1991 against the Bills and Jim Kelly. 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh. They have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to work with here at the end of the second quarter. Running play, Le'Veon Bell dances and turns it into a solid gain. 9 yards. He fakes out Wallace Gilberry. He's done that on a couple of occasions here today.
And then at the end of the run, he's just going to punish the tacklers. There goes Gilberry. Tremendous spin move. And now lowering his head into Adam Jones.
57 yards on the ground for Bell. This is a 2nd and 1 for Pittsburgh. Working from the gun. Roethlisberger hooks a pass to Antonio Brown. Brown down the sideline. The elusiveness, such a big play threat every time he touches the ball. 18 yards for Brown, who's got a little bet going with his former teammate Emmanuel Sanders, who's now in Denver. Before the season, they talked to one another and little wager on who would have more yards receiving this season.
Yeah, can we say what the wager is?
No.
Because it's not a little wager, my friend.
It's a large wager, but he asked us for a little privacy on that matter. We respect that.
Ask the wrong guy for privacy, I tell you that.
2-minute warning. Pittsburgh Steelers averaging just over 18 points per game on the road, 35 points per game at home. They've been held to 7 with 2 minutes to play in the second quarter here in Cincinnati. Steelers have 3 timeouts to work with. Roethlisberger steps up. Roethlisberger can't get rid of it, and he's drilled by Gilberry. Flag is down. All the way at the 39-yard line of Cincinnati. Loss of 4 on the play.
Flag deep in the Bengals secondary. Maybe illegal contact.
Illegal contact, defense number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's the steady Leon Hall, who likes to play press coverage most of the time. He knows he can't do it on every play.
Yeah, that negated a sack, a rare sack for the Bengals. They have only 15 in these previous 12 games.
That is 30th in the NFL. Atlanta and Oakland have less. They're going against this Todd Haley run offense. Now in his 3rd year calling the plays for the Steelers. Former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs from 09 to 11. First and 10 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger steps up. Pressure coming again. Dump off over the middle. Bell, stiff arm, brought down just short of the first down. Leon Hall with a tackle.
Now what a really special thing to have as your outlet receiver. Tailback who's got the running ability and the attitude after the catch. The face mask, or the straight arm to the face mask of Vincent Ray. Totally legal as a running back. Just can't grab the face mask.
Steelers and Bengals, 2 of 11 teams in the AFC that are at least 2 games over 500. So Cincinnati at 8-3-1, 2-1 in the division. If the Bengals get a win here, they are in the driver's seat over the final 3 weeks of the regular season. But they do have Cleveland on the schedule. They've got Denver, and then they wrap up the season in Pittsburgh.
You get that 1.5 game lead. In reality, it's a 2-game lead because of the loss column. So if there ever was a must-win for Pittsburgh, this is it today.
They've been dominant at home, 13-1-1 in their last 15 home games. But their last home game was that loss on a Thursday night to Cleveland, which was an eye-opener according to Marvin Lewis and company. They went back, self-scouted, reviewed all aspects of the team. 2nd and 1, Roethlisberger. He hits Antonio Brown for a first down. So Steelers are methodically moving it down the field. It's a 7-yard pickup. Still plenty of time left, 1:40 on the clock.
Yeah, smart call that time, too, by Todd Haley. Just an out route to Antonio Brown. Picks up the first down, stops the clock, saves another timeout.
Line of scrimmage is now the 38 of Cincinnati. Le'Veon Bell set up to the side of Roethlisberger. From the gun, Roethlisberger lets it fly. He's got Wheaton. Steelers move the chains. They are inside the Cincinnati 25.
Real good rhythm, good route here, but look how far Terrence Newman is playing off of Wheaton, respecting his speed. But in this situation, just giving up too many yards to the young receiver.
Steelers call a timeout, and a reminder that the Verizon halftime report is coming up. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, latest NFL scores and highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon halftime report. That was a rough night for that fan.
A long way from Denver.
He's mixing teams, isn't he?
Well, at least it's not the other end of the horse.
Was that an option on the costume?
I think somewhere in the stadium there's the other end.
We'll look for that. On this drive, Roethlisberger is 4 of 4. Overall, he's 13 of 18, 129 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Neither team has turned it over. 1:33 left in the first half. First down for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger gets rid of it. Incomplete. Cincinnati had a beat on Roethlisberger with Carlos Dunlap.
With a guy as big and as strong as Roethlisberger, your target area has to be his chest and his shoulder, trying to keep him from getting that right arm loose so he can throw those balls when he's being dragged to the ground. At the time he had Marcus Wheaton crossing over the middle, but Dunlap got just enough of Roethlisberger to prevent the completion.
When Leon Hall spoke to our group, it was interesting. He said, you've got to cover against Roethlisberger 8 to 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Usually it's 3 to 4 seconds against most quarterbacks. 2nd and 10. Le'Veon Bell remains on his feet, and he spun down a gain of 4. Now that's one of those carries that it just shows up as a 4-yard pickup. It could have easily been no gain or a loss on the play. It's Bell's special talents and the ability to remain balanced that turns that into a positive pickup.
Yeah, broke the tackle of Emmanuel Lamar at the line of scrimmage. You get that positive pickup.
We are under a minute to play.
57
Second quarter, 14-7, Cincinnati in front. Steelers will go empty with Roethlisberger working from the shotgun. On a 3rd and 6, Roethlisberger packs the ball, throws, catch, Antonio Brown. First down inside the 5. Terrence Newman got spun around.
We were talking about accuracy earlier for Roethlisberger. There's nothing wrong with his accuracy now as he throws the ball away from Newman. Good adjustment to the pass by Brown. But what a valuable combo this has turned out to be for Pittsburgh. Antonio Brown with 96 catches coming in is now at an even 100 on the season.
He's elite. He is one of the best receivers in this league.
No, he's got it all. He's got the speed and the quickness on the short routes to turn him into a big play. We talked about, we've already seen him get deep.
And he's tough. He's shifty.
Makes the tough catch in a crowd.
9th play of the drive. Steelers are out of timeouts. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger guns it, end zone, incomplete. You had Brown right around the goal line. You had Lance Moore in the end zone.
And again, really good pass protection for Roethlisberger. He's trying to have a receiver come clean though, but good coverage that time by Ma'aluga on Antonio Brown. And Lance Moore couldn't get to that short throw.
Adam Jones has a bruised chest. His return is probable for Cincinnati. Working from the gun. Roethlisberger triggers back in the end zone. Too high for Moore. 20 seconds to play now in the second quarter. And it's 3rd and goal for Pittsburgh.
Really a good reaction by Trey Kirkpatrick, the #1 pick from 2012, as he comes off his coverage right there, number 27 of Antonio Brown, and makes this a difficult target to Lance Moore.
11th play of the drive. 3rd and goal for the Steelers.
Hey, tell Mike, take this side when it's come.
At Cincinnati will take a timeout. .20 seconds left on the clock.
Really a smart timeout called by Paul Guenther. He could look at what the Steelers came out as far as formation and personnel, and they can now go to the sidelines. If the Steelers don't change their personnel, they have a better indication of what might be coming. But a lot of weapons for Ben Roethlisberger, and a great outlet receiver in Le'Veon Bell if he doesn't like what he sees in the end zone.
Terrence Newman, shoulder injury. His return is probable. Paul Guenther in his first year as the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, his 10th season overall as an assistant coach under Marvin Lewis. .20 seconds left, first half.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with number 84 at the bottom of the screen, Antonio Brown.
Motion man is Wheaton on a 3rd and goal for Pittsburgh. Trying to even this one up. Roethlisberger Incomplete. He was looking for Bryant and also looking for a flag.
Well, Bryant has 6 touchdown catches here in his rookie year. And at 6'4", he's a tempting target, but that ball nowhere near. Bryant thought he might have been pushed out of the back of the end zone. And he certainly didn't run out of the back of the end zone on his own accord. Reggie Nelson with a veteran move there on the rookie.
22-yard attempt, chip shot for Sean Sweezum, the 10-year veteran. Having another excellent year for Pittsburgh. Steelers cut into the Cincinnati lead. It's 14-10 with 11 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Talking to Todd Haley during the week, said that the Steelers offense has to be in a desperation mode, that they can't settle for field goals because of the problems with the defense has had stopping the passing attack of their opponents. So we've seen that already here in the first half. Bengals hot their last 2 drives, and the Steelers getting all the way down the field and coming away with just 3.
Well, Roethlisberger told us yesterday that as an offense, they put pressure on themselves to be perfect, and they have to be careful of trying not to do too much. And last week, obviously, with the defensive issues, Steelers got into comeback mode, but a lot of those points and yards were window dressing late in the game against the Saints, who had pulled away.
Roethlisberger in the first half, 14 completions out of 23 throws for 143 and a touchdown to Heath Miller. But that was an impressive drive until they got down inside the red zone, and the Bengals, without Adam Jones and without Terrence Newman, doing a good job keeping the Steelers out of the end zone.
Steelers have some tough losses on their resume this season. They fell to Tampa Bay and the Jets. So here they are at 7-5, back-to-back 8-8 seasons, trying to get back to the playoffs. And the kickoff coming from Sweezum to Brandon Tate. Short kick, rolls to the end zone. Tate will take a knee. Cincinnati will have it at the 20-yard line with 11 seconds to play. Steelers 3-3 on the road this season. Wins at Carolina, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. Losses at Baltimore, at Cleveland, and at the Jets. The last division to have every team finish 500 or better, have to go back 2007, the AFC South. Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Houston. That'll do it for this first half. Cincinnati has a 14-10 advantage on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bengals riding a 3-game winning streak, all 3 of those wins coming on the road. First time they've done that in franchise history.
How you doing?
Let's go downstairs. Jenny Dell is standing by with Mike Tomlin.
Coach, having to trade a touchdown for a field goal to end the half, how does that affect the team's mentality?
You know, I don't think it affects our mentality. Obviously, it affects the scoreboard. We got to be able to get points there. But we're a battle-hardened group. We'll come back out here and fight the next 30 minutes.
Where did you see the breakdown in your defense on that Andy Dalton touchdown? How does that get corrected?
You know, we got to fall back right there with that zone scheme run. But, you know, I'm more concerned about what got them down there, you know. We got a penalty on an interception that could have killed that drive. We had some more opportunities to get off. We just got to continue to play sound defense, snap in and snap out.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
All right, Jenny, end of the first half with Cincinnati leading at 14-10. We'll come back for Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. Touchdown, Jermaine Gresham. The NFL on CBS getting ready for third quarter action in Cincinnati. The Bengals 14, the Steelers 10. Let's take a look at the Bows game changer in that first half. Andy Dalton fakes the handoff to Jeremy Hill. The Steelers were faked on the play, and Dalton takes it 20 yards for the longest rushing touchdown of his NFL career, now in its 4th season. with the Bengals. Second half action is coming up. AFC North showdown here. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. These two teams will play again to wrap up the regular season. And pretty much what you would expect from these two fierce rivals, physical and tight.
And Cincinnati, playing like a first-place team. They settled down in the first quarter after trying a couple of trick plays, got back to basics, scored on their last two possessions, aside from the kneel down at the end of the first half. So they'll get the kickoff to start the second half and hope to build on the momentum that they have created in that first half.
Sean Sweezum will kick it off to start this third quarter. Brandon Tate is deep for Cincinnati. Ball came off the tee, so they'll have to reset it. Last week was the first time Cincinnati won a game that they trailed at the half, coming from behind to beat Tampa Bay 14-13. Second half here at Paul Brown Stadium. Tate takes it out of the end zone. Tate trying to circle to the outside, and he's chopped down at the 15 as we check in with the third member of our crew downstairs to Jenny Dell.
Well, I just spoke with head coach Marvin Lewis, and he said that Andy Dalton touchdown really sparked this team. He said he was really proud of the execution shown on that play. And as far as the defense goes, they need to stay in charge of Bell, Brown, and Big Ben, what he called a three-headed monster. He said we need to tackle the catch, can't let vertical plays happen. These guys understand the urgency. They just need to go out there and do their job.
And Jenny, their three losses this season to New England, Indianapolis, and Cleveland have all been lopsided defeats, an average of 24 points per loss. Andy Dalton brought down. Dalton was looking to run. It'll go down as a sack for Pittsburgh with Cameron Hayward in there for the Steelers. First half numbers, very close. 208 total yards for Cincinnati, 205 for Pittsburgh. Neither team lighting it up on third downs. No turnovers in the first half. And just two accepted penalties.
And turn it.
Both of them against Cincinnati. Dalton throws. This is how they started the game. Short passes to A.J. Green on the outside. Ike Taylor with a hit. Upsetted himself. 7-yard pickup.
Well, he's played a lot tighter on A.J. Green this time. Saw that route coming from both Green and Dalton, and disappointed in himself that he didn't break on it sooner. He would have had a pick six.
8 catches, 111 yards for Green. Green just behind Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco for most 100-yard games in Cincinnati Bengals history. 3rd and 5 for the Bengals. First possession of this third quarter. Dalton working out of the gun. Slings it. In stride. A.J. Green has got a first down. Missed games earlier in the season with a turf toe issue. Green has looked very much like himself.
Well, it's a zone coverage, so the crossing route, with his type of speed, he can outrun the linebackers and pick up the first down, which he did easily on that play. Good protection for Dalton as well, but an important first down to start the second half after a poor kickoff return.
No catches today for Mohamed Sanu, who is having a career year in his third season with Cincinnati. 14:20 to go in the third. Dalton fires. And he's got Sanu for a first down. First reception for Sanu. That's catch number 52 on the season for 11 yards.
Now this is how in the first half, the Steelers decided to cover A.J. Green. Ike Taylor playing way off, lets the easy completion there, and then moving Green to the slot where he can work against Troy Polamalu and Mike Mitchell, the two safeties. He splits them. Polamalu never locates the ball, and that's a 56-yarder for A.J. Green.
10 targets, 9 catches for Green, 122 yards. Giovanni Bernard, he gets stamped by Lawrence Timmons. Timmons, who is the team's leading tackler, over 100 tackles on the season for the 8-year veteran.
And a lot of them just like that, too. Boy, he met the running back Hill right in the hole, and that's as far as Hill could go as he double teams him with Arthur Moats.
Dick LeBeau has had some pretty good linebackers through the years, I would say.
I would say. Tremendous coach.
It is Sanu at the quarterback spot. Dalton is out wide. Sanu. No, nothing there.
Now this is 3 times now that the Bengals have tried a trick play. They had a fake punt in the first quarter. They had a funky formation that didn't work on a 3rd down play, and now they go with a wildcat, and Steelers ready for all the tricks that Hugh Jackson has. Just an off-tackle run behind Jeremy Hill, but no separation, no hole there for Sanu.
So it's 3rd and long here for Cincinnati.
No.
7th play of the drive. See what Hugh Jackson has dialed up on 3rd and 8.
Hey, come on, bro.
Cincinnati has to use a timeout. Dalton was running out of time on the play clock. 11:28 mark of the 3rd quarter. Bengals holding on to a 14-10 lead over Pittsburgh, trying to convert on a 3rd and long when we come back. Dan, what's your philosophy on a timeout called here early in the 3rd?
In a 4-point game, I think you take the delay of game penalty. If you don't make it on 3rd down, then you punt the ball, flip the field, and pin the Steelers back deep. Now you're going to get that 5-yard penalty anyway. So you've wasted a timeout here in a tight ball game with your defense playing well.
Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
So you're saying the timeout is more valuable than the 5 yards?
Absolutely, and because you've got a great punter, your defense is playing well, and this is going to be a game that's going to go down to the wire, and you're going to need those timeouts.
So they lost the 5 yards anyway from the jump out of Jermaine Gresham.
I didn't count on that happening, but kind of helps my argument, doesn't it?
You were prescient.
I'm here too.
Yeah, both. 3rd and 13. Working from the gun. Rush is coming. Dalton gets rid of it. Green unable to haul it in. Ike Taylor drawing the coverage a little bit offline for Green, who was coming in.
Well, look at Taylor. He almost knew that was going to be an in route. He took away the inside, and the pass pressure by the Steelers cost that throw to be behind Green. That was the best pass rush the Steelers have mustered up so far.
Leads to a Kevin Huber punt. Antonio Brown waiting for it. It will take a Cincinnati roll. Brown never gets a chance to touch it. Whistle down at the 20-yard line. That's where the Steelers will have it after the 41-yard punt. Week 14 continues later today on Fox, and then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. 11:10 to play, 3rd quarter here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ben Roethlisberger grew up 2.5 hours from here. Attended Findlay High School. Lists his hometown as Corey Rawson, Ohio. Terrence Newman is in for Cincinnati. Roethlisberger fake the handoff, dump it off. Le'Veon Bell hurdling. Brought down shy of the 30-yard line.
Never a good idea to leave your feet, but it's just a natural reaction by Bell as he sees the tacklers going low. But Leon Hall there and Ray Maaluga. He got over the top of Hall, but not Maaluga.
So acrobatic play from Le'Veon Bell sets up a 2nd and short here for Pittsburgh. 10.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Double tight end set, Miller and Spaeth. Wheaton the motion man for the Steelers. On the ground, Bell gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss for Le'Veon Bell of 1 yard.
Ray Maaluga with back-to-back good plays on Le'Veon Bell. Not a whole lot of penetration, but what the Bengals did is they stretched the offensive line, did not allow any crease in that defense. And Maaluga, good anticipation where Bell was trying to get to. Stopped him cold.
It's a 3rd and 2. Going against this Paul Gunther coach defense. Bell shifts to the other side of Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger gets rid of it and connects with Martavis Bryant. The rookie has a first down. It covers 12 yards working against the veteran Newman.
Well, real sharp route there, and the ball perfectly thrown. Slant routes you want to throw into the body of the receiver so he doesn't have to worry about covering up. He covers up naturally when he catches the ball.
Fourth-round draft pick out of Clemson. He's become a red zone target. 6 touchdowns in 6 NFL games. This is his 7th game. He was inactive to start the season.
180! What is up?
First down to the 40. Give it to Bell. Flag down. Hit hard by Malaluga.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
It's Mike Adams, and it's the first charged penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers today.
Now he's the right tackle, and he's working against Carlos Dunlap. And you can see him grab Dunlap out in the open. But again, even with Dunlap's penetration, look at all the other Bengals in the backfield when Bell tries to cut up. Great pursuit down the line by the Bengal D.
Back it up to the 30-yard line. A 1st and 20 now for Pittsburgh. Pump. Roethlisberger. Nobody home. Bell, the intended receiver, and the pass was a little bit offline. All right, Dan. You want high school footage of Ben Roethlisberger?
I do.
We've got high school footage of Ben Roethlisberger. Findlay High School. Roethlisberger was a wide receiver until his senior year. Then he finally took over as the team's quarterback.
It wasn't quite Big Ben then, wasn't he?
No, he was medium Ben.
Medium Ben.
He became Big Ben later at Miami, Ohio, and then eventually as the first-round draft pick of the Steelers in 2004. 2nd and 20 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger fires it to Antonio Brown. Hit by Reggie Nelson. Those two exchange some pleasantries. 12-yard pickup. And now 3rd and manageable after the 2nd and 20.
Now 5 catches now for Antonio Brown for 56 yards. And that time it was 2 receivers to that side, and both defensive backs went with a slot receiver and left Brown open on the outside.
5 receptions and at least 50 yards. That streak keeps going for Antonio Brown, who has blossomed into a star in his 5th year out of Central Michigan. 6th-round draft pick. Play clock winding down. Roethlisberger gets it off and hits Brown again. First down, perfect timing. They move into Cincinnati territory on a 12-yard hookup.
Well, Terrence Newman playing Brown outside shade that time. And perfect play call and execution by the Steelers. The quick slant route is working well for Roethlisberger and his receivers so far.
A little bit of a juggle from Brown, but he hauls it in, and they move the chains. From the 46, Roethlisberger looking deep, fires, it's complete. Antonio Brown with a penalty marker down. Brown gets hit inside the 15.
They may get Marcus Wheaton for pass interference here. It looked like he blocked the defensive back that allowed that completion down the field.
32-yard pass play.
Holding, defense, number 20.
Wow.
This penalty is declined. Results in the play, first down.
The pass stands. Reggie Nelson gets collared with the hold, and they turn it down. Now Nelson is looking around saying, how is this on me?
Well, this is Terrence Newman, and that's holding right there. So not only did I misidentify the culprit, so did Tony Corrente.
It's irrelevant because Pittsburgh has it at the 14-yard line. Brown has 7 catches for 100 yards. Out of the pistol. Le'Veon Bell up the gut. Ray Malaluga, first man to greet him, and limits Bell to a 3-yard pickup.
Well, they are getting to know each other, aren't they? That's 3 tackles now in this drive for Malaluga on Le'Veon Bell, and Bell really hit that hole hard after his little bit of a hesitation. Malaluga enjoying his afternoon with a little smile there.
It's a fast-paced third quarter. We're down to 6:18 to play in the third. It's been mostly passes on this drive. Running play. Bell gets out of trouble initially, but can only pick up a yard. Vincent Ray grabbing down low, and then Malaluga there to finish him off. Third and 6 for the Steelers.
Steelers 5 of 10 converting third downs this afternoon. It's above their average of 44%.
57, yeah.
Pittsburgh facing a third and 6. 10th play of the drive for the Steelers. Roethlisberger steps up, pulls the trigger. He's got Bell. Bell's got the angle. Touchdown, Steelers. Catch and run for Le'Veon Bell. Pittsburgh goes back in front.
Well, it's an option route for Le'Veon Bell. He's going to be man-to-man on Emmanuel Lemur. He makes a great move. Watch number 26 come out of here. Shake to the post, back to the sideline, and outruns Lemur to the corner of the end zone. That's a great route by Lemur, and Roethlisberger hanging with him. It took a while for that to develop. He had the time from his offensive line, and it worked out.
Squeeze him on for the extra point. Steelers go 10 plays, 80 yards. They now lead it 17-14 over Cincinnati. Le'Veon Bell, so dangerous on the ground and through the air. The all-around skills on display. Get the fastest football scores and updates with the CBS Sports app, the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now. Pittsburgh 17, Cincinnati 14. Adam Jones suffered a chest injury in the first half. Le'Veon Bell is over 100 yards from scrimmage in 11 of his last 13 games. It's a total of 109 today. Sweezum kicks it off. Jones again mishandles it. Has to take a knee. He's fortunate it didn't come all the way out of the end zone, or he would have been forced to return it. Cincinnati now trails at home against Pittsburgh. As part of the NFL Play 60 program, the Bengals held their annual punt, pass, and kick competition at halftime today. NFL Play 60 encourages kids to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. To learn how and to find great play ideas, visit NFLrush.com/play60. Thoroughbred? Yeah. It's sad that our brains think alike. And for one of us, I'm not sure which one. First down, Dalton throws underneath. Giovanni Bernard would move upfield. Did a lot of work to pick up 5 yards, brought down by Steve McClendon. Well, Cincinnati at home, what a stretch it's been. That was part of the reason why the Cleveland game was so shocking when they lost on a Thursday night, 24-3, their last home game. 13-1-1 now in their last 15 regular season home games, over 30 points per game, +8 turnover differential. Mike Taylor is out. Bryce McCain is in for Pittsburgh. And the running play for Bernard picks up 2 yards. He ran into a wall initially and was able to redirect for a couple.
Yeah, this game really has that playoff game intensity. Well-played game, 0 turnovers, and just 4 penalties, 1 against Pittsburgh, 3 against Cincinnati. This is going to be a nail-biter.
Pretty close, the numbers. Pittsburgh has more yards, 295. They've got the 17-14 lead against Cincinnati. Dalton on 33. Catch is made, but short. Bernard drilled by Timmons, and they're ruling it incomplete.
It's a tough assignment for an inside linebacker, too. Bernard going to the outside on a flat route, and right there is Timmons. Close to being a fumble, but Bernard did not have the ball long enough for it to be a completion.
And that was a rough 3 and out for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh building some momentum. And now we'll get the football back if everything works the way that the Steelers wanted to here with Kevin Huber punting. Sure-handed Antonio Brown waits for it. From the 30. Brown sidesteps, tries to circle, and he's thrown down. Darquez Denard on special teams makes the play. The rookie out of Michigan State. Steelers with a football and a 3-point lead in the third quarter. Chilly day here in Cincinnati, where the Steelers lead the Bengals 17-14. Pittsburgh, 3:57 to go in the third quarter. Steelers made a late run last season, 3-1 in the final month, but fell short of the playoffs for the second consecutive year. Trying to reverse that here in 2014. They enter action at 7-5. Le'Veon Bell. Boy, he's got tremendous vision. Makes the right choice on a 14-yard pickup.
Well, earlier in the game, it was power running with pulling. DeCastro and Spaeth getting out in front, but the multi-talented Le'Veon Bell, now with 18 carries, 79 yards, and this is what he can do out of the backfield. Tremendous move on the option route there. It's his third receiving touchdown of the season. What a threat, running or catching.
The balance from Bell, 80 rushing yards, 44 yards receiving, and the touchdown. First down for Pittsburgh at the 45. And a toss for Bell. And this time Cincinnati is ready. Vincent Ray first, and then Emmanuel Lemur. Loss of 4.
Well, the last run he had was straight at the Bengals, but so far in the second half, every time the Steelers have had to try to run wide, the Bengals' pursuit has been there. They've been able to move down the line of scrimmage and keep Bell from cutting back and making any yardage.
Steelers are 18-5 in Cincinnati since 1991. That's the highest road winning percentage against a divisional opponent for any team in the NFL over that span. 2nd and 14 now for the Steelers. Play clock winding down from the gun. Roethlisberger steps up, comes it off underneath. Bell makes his move, gets around Ray for a moment, but Ray recovers. 6-yard gain.
Now what that does is brings up a third down from midfield now for Roethlisberger. That's a good choice on 2nd and long. After losing yardage on first down, getting the ball back to Bell over the middle and getting a positive play out of it.
Mike Tomlin said, it's that time of year when the schedule came out, he knew that these two Cincinnati games in the final month of the season would be huge, and they are. These two teams will do it again in the regular season finale at Heinz Field. 3rd and 8 for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger to Bryant. And Bryant is twirled out of bounds along the sideline by Jones. No first down for the Steelers. Just a 3-yard pickup. Cincinnati will get it back with 1:39 left in the third.
It almost makes you think that Steelers are playing for field position at this point. With this type of pass play to Bryant, good coverage by Adam Jones, not anywhere near the first down. And the Bengals waiting to see if the Steelers are going to go for it here as they bring out their punt team. And the Bengals will respond with their punt return team.
Brad Wing is on. His father David was a punter in NFL Europe. Play clock has expired.
5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
So he'll back it up on the delay.
Well, it took the Steelers a long time to decide whether they wanted to go for it on 4th down. And now the regular defense will come off the field and the regular punt return team on for Cincinnati.
Not damaging for Pittsburgh just because Wing has some room to work with trying to put this ball inside the 15 and also trying to make sure that Tate doesn't return it. From the 11. Tate to the outside, and he's out of bounds short of the 20-yard line. Marvin Lewis trying to get his team pumped up late in the third quarter. Dre Kirkpatrick was hurt on that punt. Kirkpatrick did get up and jogged off on his own for Cincinnati. The Bengals offense takes over with a give to Giovanni Bernard. He can't break through that wave and has to settle for a 3-yard gain on the ground with 40 seconds to go in the third. William Gay in on the stop.
Yeah, it's been Bernard primarily the ball carrier for the Bengals in the second half. Hugh Jackson looking for a burst, perhaps a big run out of Bernard. Bernard has an 89-yard run this season.
2nd and 7 here for the Bengals, taking their time with 15 seconds to go. Bernard remains in the backfield. Marshall Newhouse is in for Cincinnati on the O-line. Dalton, long ball, separation. A.J. Green's got it, makes a cut. Now it's a foot race. Green all the way. Touchdown, Bengals. 81 yards on the bomb. Cincinnati takes the lead at the end of the third.
Now the danger sometimes in your corner is if you're pressing, you've got to make contact with the receiver at the line of scrimmage. And that's not what Ike Taylor did that time on the outside. You can see right down the middle of the field will go A.J. Green. He makes a move there, and it's no catching. Another huge pass play for Andy Dalton to his favorite receiver, A.J. Green.
It is a new career high for A.J. Green. 203 yards today. 10 catches and that 81-yard touchdown.
26 touchdown passes given up now by the Steeler defense.
Extra point from Nugent. Cincinnati 21, Steelers 17. We go to the fourth. A.J. Green goes the distance from Andy Dalton. Ben Roethlisberger has to get to work with the Pittsburgh offense. This is the NFL on CBS. Big play abilities for Cincinnati. 9 touchdown drives of 3 plays or less this season. That's the second most in the NFL. A.J. Green beating Ike Taylor for an 81-yard touchdown to give Cincinnati the lead. Mike Nugent will kick it off. Fourth quarter is underway at Paul Brown Stadium. Deep kick takes Wheaton through the back of the end zone. Steelers will have it at the 20.
Well, the coverage on A.J. Green here by Ike Taylor. Watch as Green gets to the inside. No contact at all, which is vitally important when you're bumping and running. That's why they call it bump and run. And then the awareness for Green after he makes his catch, he's checking out where Mike Mitchell is. Watch his eyes. Look for the defensive back planning his next move, knowing he's got a big play in hand.
Give you an update on the Cincinnati secondary. Leon Hall and Adam Jones are out there for Cincinnati. Terrence Newman is dealing with a shoulder injury. Hand off to Le'Veon Bell. Bell! Big run! Le'Veon Bell into Cincinnati territory. Lemur catches him from behind. Le'Veon Bell has put together an all-pro season. 53-yard rip. Ring the bell for Pittsburgh.
Well, again, it's DeCastro, and this time it's Heath Miller leading on this power play. We showed you this a couple of times in the first half. And Le'Veon Bell busts through for 53 big ones. Just what the Steelers need.
Line of scrimmage is now the 27 of Cincinnati. Bell, 178 total yards. Josh Harris, a rookie out of Wake Forest, is in. Harris gets the call. And just make sure that he secures the ball. That is the first career carry for Harris, undrafted free agent. Carlos Dunlap to hit. Bell returns. And Harris heads back to the Pittsburgh sideline.
Well, he got a 1-yard gain, and that's 1 yard more than any other running back for the Steelers outside of Le'Veon Bell. Just 1 yard for any other running back for the Steelers this season. 2nd and 9 now for Pittsburgh. Dree Archer is a running back slash receiver. He's not active today. Pump. Roethlisberger steps up. Low throw. Cincinnati claims that Miller trapped it, and the officials agree. This is one of the most amazing statistics you'll ever find this late in the season. Bell with 128 yards rushing today, and all season long by an active backup running back has netted just 1 yard.
Remember, they did have LeGarrette Blount. That did not end well. He was told that it's time to move on, and then got scooped up by his former team, the New England Patriots, and then promptly scored 2 touchdowns the following week. 3rd and 9. Early stages of the 4th. Play clock was running down, and Roethlisberger takes a timeout. Pittsburgh has 2 timeouts left. Cincinnati with 2 as well. Tomorrow on CBS, the wait is over. Mike and Molly are back. Don't miss the season premiere. That's tomorrow after 2 Broke Girls here on CBS.
Is that a play on words?
Okay. If that's the way you took it.
Well, they're big folks.
They're back.
The wait is over.
I didn't even think of it that way, Dan. Where is your mind? 13:44 to play in the 4th. This has turned out to be everything that everyone around the NFL expected it to be, with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, 2 teams fighting it out in the AFC North. Terrence Newman returns for Paul Gunther's defense on a 3rd and 9 for the Steelers. Steeler fans well represented here at Paul Brown Stadium. Terrible towels are being waved. Shotgun for Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger steps, fires too high. Try to hit Antonio Brown, and it's 4th down.
And again, it looks like the Steelers are going to have to settle for a field goal attempt here instead of getting points. Kind of wasted that great run by Le'Veon Bell on 1st down in this drive.
Sean Sweezum, who made a 22-yarder earlier. This is double the length. 44-yard attempt for Sweezum. Wing will hold it. Sweezum knocks it through. It's a 1-point Cincinnati lead. We're in the 4th quarter. The Bengals and Steelers in a tight one. Aerial coverage of today's action is brought to you by MetLife. Great shots of Cincinnati, Ohio. 21-20. Bengals in front. Tate on the return, and he's dropped at the 26-yard line. Well, Steelers defense, they have been burned by the long ball the past 3 games. TJ Graham scored on a 67-yard pass for the Jets. Nate Washington broke free. 80-yard touchdown for the Tennessee Titans. Last week, Kenny Stills wide open, a 69-yard catch, and now tack on another. A.J. Green from Andy Dalton, 81 yards. That's 4 straight games for Pittsburgh. There was a bye week wedged in there.
And Dalton had a 56-yarder in the first half on a similar type of play.
Cincinnati has it with a 1st and 10 at its own 26-yard line with 13:27 to play in the 4th. Give it to Hill. Limited carries for Hill and Bernard. 7 rushes for 33 yards for Hill. Bernard 6 for 17. Here are the numbers on Ben Roethlisberger and Andy Dalton.
Well, Dalton taking advantage of those 2 long bombs we just talked about to A.J. Green. And for Roethlisberger, he spread it around pretty good. Antonio Brown with 7 catches for 100 yards. And Le'Veon Bell, 6 catches for 50. And that touchdown not too long ago.
Bryce McCain is in, replacing Ike Taylor for Pittsburgh. 2nd and 7 for Cincinnati. Dalton loses the ball. Dalton fighting for it. Arthur Moats got there. The Steelers take over. Big turnover by Cincinnati here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, it's a read option play, and he just gets it kind of hung up on Hill's back. That is hip right here. Officials have called it a Pittsburgh ball.
Number 55.
And they're giving the recovery to Arthur Moats. Moats just out battles Dalton for the ball while it's on the ground. Got better leverage on it and just pulls it away. You can see Dalton only has one hand to work with.
Once again,
Critical mistake. First turnover of the afternoon for either team.
First fumble recovery of the season for Arthur Moats, the former Buffalo Bill. And the Steelers, with 12:45 remaining here in the fourth, have it at the Cincinnati 24-yard line.
And for Dalton, that's just his third fumble of the season. Two he's lost.
Playing with three tight ends in this formation with Miller, Spaeth, and Will Johnson. First down for the Steelers. In Cincinnati territory. Handed off to Le'Veon Bell. Bell goes down after the gain of 3, hit by Lemur.
You know, this is the danger of the read option game, is the exchange with the quarterback and the tailback. You can see that Dalton trying to pull it out, but it just gets hung up on the right hip of Jeremy Hill.
The corners right now for Cincinnati are Hall and Jones. Second and 7 for the Steelers. We approach 12 minutes to play. Motion man is Heath Miller in a 1-point game. Take the handoff. Roethlisberger throws. Incomplete. Brown matched up with Hall. Those two know each other quite well.
Really a great play by Leon Hall. It's a deep out route by Antonio Brown. Watch the right hand come in here and knock the ball away. Ball's thrown not as far to the outside as Ben would have liked it. You want to lead your receiver to the sideline with that ball. Keep it away from the defensive back, but great coverage negated that. Terrence Newman.
Nickel package here. Dre Kirkpatrick is in. This is a 3rd and 7 for Pittsburgh. Play clock winding down. From the gun, Roethlisberger throws. It's complete to Antonio Brown for a first down. Against Adam Jones, they pick up 8 and move the chains.
He's just so quick out of his break. No hesitation here at all. Just rolls right out of it. And there's really nothing that Jones can do except escort him out of bounds. Timing impeccable between quarterback and receiver.
Spreading it around. 22 targets for the wide receivers. Tight ends have played a role. Running backs, of course, because of Le'Veon Bell's pass-catching ability. Who set it down to work with? Give it to Bell. What a cut by Bell! Extends for the touchdown! Le'Veon Bell has given the Steelers the fourth quarter lead. They're going to ride Bell.
Well, they're going to ride this play, too. Again, it's DeCastro, 66, Heath Miller, 83, leading the way. It's the power play off tackle, just old-fashioned power football, and great effort to break the plane by Bell. But how about Todd Haley recognizing a solid run play and running it over and over for great results?
Dan, the Steelers will go for 2 here, trying to make this a 28-21 game. 11:27 left. From the gun, Roethlisberger. Bell shifts to the other side. Roethlisberger lets it fly. Open man is Miller. They convert for 2. And a flag thrown. Hall and Brown separated. Kirkpatrick is in there as well for Cincinnati. Now Iloka has something to say. And some of Brown's teammates come to his defense with Beachum and Moore. Tony Corrente had to tell Mike Tomlin to head back to his sideline.
After the extra point, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Cincinnati number 27. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
It's Kirkpatrick called on unnecessary roughness. As the smoke clears, the Steelers lead by 7. Le'Veon Bell, he's got 1 rushing touchdown. He's got 1 receiving touchdown. Miller on the receiving end of the two-point conversion. It's 28-21 Pittsburgh in an AFC North battle. Back in Cincinnati, 4 plays, 24 yards. After the fumble by Dalton, Le'Veon Bell on the verge of cracking 200 total yards. He's got a pair of touchdowns, and after the penalty, Sweezum is kicking it off from midfield for Pittsburgh. Sweezum drives it, and the field goal is good.
Let's go back to the touchdown run by Le'Veon Bell. Tremendous execution. Watch the Castro 66. He'll get the first guy, then Heath Miller takes out Jones. Then Will Johnson gets just enough of Ray Maualuga to keep Maualuga from picking up his 8th tackle of the game. But that's power right about the 7. Actually, it's more like the 11-yard line. And then the extension to get in the end zone, and Heath Miller just gained his balance in the nick of time to catch that 2-point conversion from Roethlisberger.
28-21 Pittsburgh, 11:27 left on the clock. Cincinnati takes over 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Take the run. The pass is to A.J. Green. A bobble by Green. That could have been disastrous. 21 yards.
We've seen a lot of slant routes today because the defensive backs are playing so far off. A.J. Green almost fumbles this ball as he's hit by Antoine Blake. Good awareness to find the ball and get down. Good job by Blake with the chop on the ball.
Cincinnati on the move. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Green now at 224 yards receiving, a new career high. Dalton steps up, has some room. Dalton will pick up 3 on the play, just short of the 45. We're down to 10:35 remaining. Worlds was a little slow getting up.
That was a smart play by Dalton, seeing he didn't have anything deep down the field. He wanted to go for the long ball. And instead of risking another turnover, just kept it.
The numbers have been big for both teams on offense. Giovanni Bernard, Dalton there to block. And Bernard goes airborne with a flag thrown.
And you know this one's coming back, thrown right as Bernard cutting to the outside. The offensive lineman not anticipating that because it's supposed to be a running play basically between the tackles, and Bernard didn't like what he saw, took it to the outside, and that's sometimes why you get holding.
Illegal block in the back, offense number 12. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
It is Mohamed Sanu, illegal block in the back. Took a shot on that right leg as Bernard went up in the air. Bryce McCain there to meet him.
Very few good things happen when you leave your feet.
In general or just in football?
Well, what I've found that anytime I leave my feet, it's bad.
Good to know.
You?
Nice
You?
tip.
Huh?
I'll have to try it. 2nd and 17 now for the Bengals. We are under 10 minutes to play. Pittsburgh up by 7. Dalton throws it underneath. Giovanni Bernard slammed down. Antoine Blake seeing extended action for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the secondary. 7-yard gain on the catch and run.
Now, Ike Taylor's out with an injury, so Antoine Blake will get that action. But what I liked what he did on that play, Ian, is he made Bernard cut back to the inside where he knew he had help coming.
This is a 3rd and 9 for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh has stormed back after that 81-yard bomb to A.J. Green. Steelers didn't blink. Under 9 minutes to play. Dalton steps up. Long ball on the way. Popped up in the air. Incomplete. With 2 Steeler defenders back there.
Well, Blake made the play on the ball, and Mike Mitchell misses the interception.
A.J. Green, the target.
A good job by Blake not going for that first move. Good position here. And now Mitchell coming over the top, flat, drops an interception.
Bengals front with Kevin Huber. Antonio Brown. And not touch it. Ball rolls and angles inside the 10, officially down at the 6-yard line. Steelers will be pinned deep in its own territory after the 52-yard punt. They lead the Bengals by 7. Steelers have it at their own 6-yard line with 8:43 to play. They're in front 28-21 over Cincinnati. Le'Veon Bell in the backfield for Pittsburgh. Fake the handoff. Roethlisberger throws. Rainbow delivery. Over the shoulder grab. Bryant. Goodbye. Martavis Bryant. Touchdown. 94 yards. Leon Hall beat on the play. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Huge play here in the 4th. And it's Roethlisberger putting it exactly where it has to be.
Nothing fancy. Play action fake, good protection, and then launch it. Bryant just running a go route. Blows by Leon Hall, and there's nobody closing. Talk about flipping the field and flipping the scoreboard.
Over 4,000 yards passing now for Ben Roethlisberger this season. That's the longest pass play of the season for Pittsburgh at 94 yards. Bryant has been a touchdown machine for Pittsburgh. 7 touchdowns in 7 games in his rookie year. Extra point from Sweezum. Bengals fans are stunned. 8:31 to play. It is now a 2-touchdown lead. Big Ben Roethlisberger back in his home state and delivering. 486 yards of offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Martavis Bryant now with 4 catches, 109 yards, and that 94-yard touchdown. Sweezum will kick it off. Brandon Tate is deep. Cincinnati now in a 14-point hole. Tate hit at the 26.
Go back to the touchdown, this 94-yard beauty. You can see middle of the field is Iloka. Here is Hall, and it's just a race. Bryant is going to go right by Leon Hall. Iloka in the center of the field cannot get over there. Roethlisberger threw this ball about 55 yards in the air. And we talked about the killer bees before the game with Ben, Brown, and Bell. Well,
you got to add one.
Okay, you go ahead and add it.
I jumped you.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
Put Bryant on.
Okay,
that's 4 Bs.
Sounds like my report card on a good day.
You were that good, huh?
On a good day.
35-21, Pittsburgh. 8:26 to play. Cincinnati has it. 1st and 10 from the 27. Dalton tripping down. Giovanni Bernard, and it's ruled incomplete. Steelers come away with it with worlds, but it was already whistled dead.
Well, Bernard's going to trip right about here and go down. He's going to stay after this ball.
It did hit that synthetic turf.
And never really controlled it. Good thing he didn't for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Steelers thought they had the knockout punch.
And now the desperation mode has got stripes on their helmet. Talked about the Steelers and how they had to play this game offensively. No better example than coming off your own goal line with a bomb and having it pay off.
That fumble from Andy Dalton seemed to trigger things for Pittsburgh. Trying to put this game away. Dalton throws. Dropped by Sanu. Took a shot from Antoine Blake. Andy Dalton on his back.
Yeah, he took a shot too. Jason Campbell is the backup quarterback, but Dalton gets it right in the rib cage. That is from Robert Gathers. Check that. That's from Stephon Truitt, rookie out of Notre Dame, 2nd-round pick.
Now Truitt actually started the game here, making his first NFL start. 6'5", 303 pounds. Has not seen a whole lot of action for Pittsburgh this season. Limited, but he has shown flashes. And right now the concern is for Andy Dalton.
And what happens on that iron is he takes the initial hit and then the momentum to the ground. So it's a double hit right to the rib cage of Dalton. One here and now to the ground. All legal by Tuitt. Very painful for Dalton.
So the veteran backup Jason Campbell, now in his 10th year in the league, is warming up, getting some instructions from offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson. They help Dalton to the upright position. Now he's on his feet.
Guaranteed he had his wind knocked out of him. The question is, are those rib pads go all the way around and protect against that helmet to the gut shot?
And to tack on to it, Dan, this is a critical play. It's a 3rd and 10 for Cincinnati in a 14-point game with 8:15 left. Jason Campbell trots out.
And you forget about the pass that was just dropped by Mohamed Sanu on the Steelers sideline. That would have been a first down out to at least the 40-yard line.
Campbell has played with Washington, Oakland, and Cleveland. He's started for 6 seasons in his NFL career. 3rd and 10. Campbell is 4 of 7 this season. Campbell will throw it, flags are down. A toss to Bernard. Bernard trying to make his move to the marker, and he's short. Hit by William Gay. 8-yard gain for Bernard. It's going to work against Cincinnati.
Holding, offense number 68. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Boy, they're going to repeat 3rd down and not refuse that? Bring up a 4th down?
Would have been 4th and 2.
I would like the ball. I don't think Cincinnati would have gone for it at this type of field position with a 4th and 2.
Andy Dalton is back in the huddle for Cincinnati. We've got just over 8 minutes to play in the 4th. So Mike Tomlin electing to take the hold, force the Bengals into a 3rd and 20.
And trust his secondary that has been torched as of late.
Under 8 minutes to play. 35-21 Pittsburgh. Dalton on a 3rd and 20. Underneath to Bernard. Slowed down. Steelers pursue the ball and force him to the perimeter. 7-yard gain. So it's 4th down.
Yeah, wise choice of a pass defense that time, just dropping everybody deep. 3rd and 20, awful hard to overcome. Dalton had nothing down the field, had to dump it off short to Bernard.
Kevin Huber will punt. Antonio Brown standing at the 26. Now Huber did not get all of this one. In fact, it's out of bounds. It's going to be marked out on Cincinnati's side of the field. Rough 26-yard punt. It is falling apart for the Bengals. Thursday, the first place Cardinals take on the St. Louis Rams. The playoff chase in the NFC. Thursday Night Football, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on the NFL Network. Cardinals had the big lead. Seattle is now within range. St. Louis gets another victory. Now there's San Francisco at 7-5, but 1-3 in the division. Mark the ball at the 50-yard line. Steelers looking to use clock.
Yeah.
And trying to put the finishing touches on this game in Cincinnati. Big divisional matchup. Spin move by Bell. Le'Veon Bell, tough to bring down. Turns it into a 5-yard gain. And the numbers are impressive. 149 yards on the ground for Bell. He's got another 50 through the air. A rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
And he showed you a lot on that one play as he met the defender in the hole head on, spun away, made another tackler miss, and picked up 5 yards.
2nd and 5 for Pittsburgh. Under 7 minutes left now.
Blue 20. Blue 20.
driving out across the 40-yard line for an 8-yard gain.
Tell me if you've seen that play before. Again, it's Heath Miller pulling along with David DeCastro. And that time, instead of taking it outside, Bell saw something right over the center, Marquise Pouncey, and picked up the first down.
That's 3 straight games now of 200-plus yards from scrimmage, tying Walter Payton, 1977. NFL history going back to 1960. What a season Bell has put together.
Blue 80! Blue extra!
Roethlisberger trying to throw it to Antonio Brown. It's incomplete. Clock stops, 6:02 remaining.
I don't know if that ball was tipped to the line of scrimmage or Roethlisberger just didn't have a grip on it. He wanted to get it out as quickly as possible.
Not even sure why you're even passing at this point. Oh, his elbow got hit by DeCastro.
It was a running play, and Ben saw man-to-man coverage outside, and DeCastro doing his job on the pull, and
Blue 80!
contact with Roethlisberger's elbow.
2nd and 10, back to the ground. Le'Veon Bell falls forward, hit by Ray, Pouncey, and Spaeth. Good blocks up front. Timeout called by Cincinnati. Bengals have just 1 remaining. We've got 5:56 to go in the 4th. Coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, is there a new way to treat cancer? A revolutionary doctor thinks so. Here is plans only on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS.
You got to give this Steeler offensive line and include the tight ends in it. Their job on the ground today, and also protecting Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has not been sacked today and been hit very few times. But that group right there has just done an outstanding job leading the way for Le'Veon Bell.
Steelers trying to improve to 19-5 in Cincinnati since 1991. Bengals defending division champions. A loss would put them at 8-4-1 and tighten things up in the AFC North, with the Steelers trying to improve to 8-5. 3rd and 4, Roethlisberger throws. He's got Antonio Brown for a first down, and the drive remains alive. Working against Adam Jones for a 9-yard pickup.
9 catches now for Antonio Brown as he's over 100 yards. But again, the work that these two put in, that just doesn't happen. That type of timing takes hours and hours of practice and confidence and awareness of where the defense is and where to throw the ball and how to execute the whole thing, and it's working perfectly for those two today.
Pittsburgh has outscored Cincinnati 18-0 in the 4th quarter. Le'Veon Bell to the outside. Touchdown, Steelers. Good night from Cincinnati.
Well, it's starting to sound like a broken record, but it's the same power play. Heath Miller and David DeCastro pulling and leading the way. DeCastro takes out Adam Jones. Miller gets the linebacker on the outside. And it's another walk-in touchdown for Le'Veon Bell.
26 carries, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Bell has 6 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown through the air. And the celebration is underway for Pittsburgh. Sean Sweezem on for the point after to make it 42-21 Steelers. Over the last 3 games, Cincinnati allowed an average of 71 yards per game on the ground. The Steelers blew up that stat with Le'Veon Bell.
He's got 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. But it's a wonderful game plan. Seeing something that the Bengals could not stop, the power play. Todd Haley staying with the power. DeCastro and Heath Miller and also Matt Spaeth doing a good job. And Bell is the beneficiary of all of it.
And Dan, the most competitive division in football has just gotten a little bit tighter.
Just a touch.
All Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter, 25-0. Steelers. Todd Haley, big smile. Coaching staff is celebrating. And Mike Tomlin has gotten it done in his career against Cincinnati. He will improve to 11-4 head-to-head against the Bengals. That includes 7-2 on the road.
A lot of Steeler fans here, too. You know, they got the yellow, terrible towels waving. They seem to be multiplying as the Bengal fans head for the parking lot.
Tomlin actually spent 2 years coaching at the University of Cincinnati. Kickoff from Sweezum to Tate. This one rolls to the 1. Tate will take it from there. And Tate is dropped at the 25. Tomlin in 1999 and 2000, an assistant coach at the University of Cincinnati.
Well, in pictures, this is what Bell has done today. Out of the backfield, catching passes, 6 on the day, and then just letting his blockers, DeCastro and the tight ends, Miller and Spaeth, and then punishing defenders on his way to the goal line. And the last one of the day, a stroll down the left sideline.
Walking the tightrope to add to the already impressive numbers. 235 total yards, 3 touchdowns for Bell. Jason Campbell now in at quarterback, replacing Dalton. A jump by Moats, and flags thrown. Not a lot of penalties against Pittsburgh today, just 2 before this
Neutral
call.
zone infraction, defense number 55. Stepped in the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to break his stance. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So Andy Dalton's day is done. The frustration, that's back-to-back home losses now for a team that had gone 13-0-1 over a 14-game stretch here at Paul Brown Stadium.
Back-to-back losses in the division.
Campbell in. Throws to Jeremy Hill, hit by William Gay. Campbell also spent some time with the Chicago Bears in his 10-year career. 25th pick overall back in 2005. Signed a 1-year, $1.5 million deal to back up Andy Dalton, and has some history with Hugh Jackson back to their Oakland days together. Second and 3 for the Bengals. Cincinnati up next at Cleveland, then home for Denver, and they wrap it up in Pittsburgh.
Full start, offense number 12. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So the day started, Dan, with part of the narrative being that Cincinnati has a chance to take control of the division. You come out of this game, and now you look at the schedule, you look at the records, and you question whether or not they're going to have enough to make the playoffs.
Well, and in talking to Mike Tomlin last night, he was very confident about their chances today here in Cincinnati, and he says, can't wait to get them back in Pittsburgh.
We've got Baltimore leading in the fourth quarter. We've got Cleveland in front of Indy in the fourth quarter. Glances off of Polamalu. A.J. Green, the intended receiver. So this is how it'll line up, with Pittsburgh going to Atlanta, then hosting Kansas City and Cincinnati to end the season. Cincinnati going to Cleveland, hosting Denver, wrapping up in the Steel City.
I would not want to be a handicapper, would you?
No.
Atlanta playing a lot better as of late. Have a tough one tomorrow night in Green Bay. But the way the schedule makers, it's almost magic the way they do it. Long time ago, earlier in the year.
3rd and 8 now. Campbell steps up. And caught from behind by Tuitt. Stephon Tuitt, they believe that his inside-outside ability on that defensive line is going to pay off.
Yeah, it's such a big guy for such agility. Get him reach out here with one hand, and then wisely brings his left hand to the ankles of Jason Campbell, brings him down.
Punt from Huber. Antonio Brown sent back to the 13. Still wants to return it. Runs into his own man, and he's buried at the 21 by Flowers. 59-yard punt, 6-yard return. Well, here in Cincinnati, A.J. Green puts up big numbers. The Bengals looked like they were riding the wave, but the Killer Bees, too much, leading the rally for Pittsburgh. And then in the fourth quarter, the Steelers dominate the Bengals. Byron Cope would be very proud.
25 points in the fourth quarter. You just don't see that very often.
536 total yards for a Pittsburgh team that came in number 3 overall in total offense.
And clean, no turnovers. And that one turnover from Andy Dalton on the exchange.
It's a crusher.
Really, yeah, absolutely.
Blue 80.
Josh Harris is in. And he gets the call. Harris threw a hole to pick up 2.5. Emmanuel Lemur makes the tackle for Cincinnati. We're down to 3:22 to play in the fourth quarter. So the 3-game winning streak will come to an end for the Bengals. The 1.5-game lead will shrink to a half-game lead in the AFC North. Marvin Lewis's team has not posted back-to-back home wins over Pittsburgh since the late 80s. They beat the Steelers here at home last season. And the losses for Cincinnati will all be lopsided losses. Josh Harris once again getting the call. Tackle made by Malaluga. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Clock is down to 2.5 remaining here in the fourth.
Hey, Wing, get this ball out.
Mike Tomlin yelling at the punter. Brad Wing anticipating a punt here.
On a 3rd and 4 for the Steelers. Harris is hit. Vincent Ray stops him initially, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. All the Bengals can do is shake their head. They knew what was on the line today against their division rivals. Late afternoon here in Cincinnati, 42-21. The Steelers in front. 2 minutes to play. Brad Wing to punt it for Pittsburgh. Deep man is Brandon Tate for Cincinnati. Tate will duck out of bounds just across the 35-yard line. And a reminder, Subway postgame show is coming up. JB and the rest of the gang in New York. NFL scores, highlights, Week 14 still to come on the Subway postgame show. Pittsburgh will improve to 5-0 this season when they have more takeaways than giveaways. It's not a big shock, but the fact that it has stood up as a perfect record for the Steelers. One fumbled by Andy Dalton happened early in the fourth quarter. Jason Campbell replacing Dalton. It's Mohamed Sanu who loses his helmet on the play. Tackle made by Bryce McCain. Time ticking down, 1:35 left. Here's the AFC playoff picture. Cincinnati falls to 8-4-1. The Steelers improve to 8-5. Baltimore is 8-5. Cleveland in a tight one against Indianapolis. 2nd and 5, Campbell. He hits Kevin Brock over the middle. Second-year tight end from Rutgers. And the Steelers fans, they're not leaving in a Pittsburgh victory.
Well, they're down behind the Steeler bench, giving their favorites everything they got.
Drop ball by Jeremy Hill. Incomplete. 58 seconds left. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. The president of CBS Sports is David Burson. Today's game produced by Mark Wolf, directed by Bob Fishman. Vice President of Remote Production of CBS Sports, Steve Karasek. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Lance Barrow. Campbell throws, connects with Brock. Vice President of Studio Production of CBS Sports, Tyler Hale. NFL Today, produced by Drew Kaliski, directed by Bob Matina. The Associate Directors of today's game, Bill Thayer and Chris Burns. Broadcast Associates, Josh Weingard and Scott Laube. Technical Manager, Pete Kalander. Technical Director, Terry Rosich. Audio Supervisor, Kevin Little. Stats provided by David Freed and John Gwynn. Our spotter, Jim Stamus. And our stage manager, Scotty Wirtz.
Thanks, folks. Good job. Don't forget Rob Flores, too, my friend.
Rob runs the whole show.
Where would we be without him? I know we'd be hungry.
That's very true. 42-21. Steelers. Campbell has the ball knocked free. Scooped up by Jason Worlds. Arthur Moats getting to the quarterback. Pittsburgh takes over. And unfortunately for Cincinnati, a fitting way to end it.
And they had control of this division, and now the division is back in chaos mode.
Out of control.
Yeah, no question. And really a statement win for the Steelers after a disappointing loss last week at home to New Orleans to bounce back and just take it to the Bengals throughout the day on both sides of the ball.
Ben Roethlisberger back to Ohio. And another win for Big Ben. He started his career 10-0 in his home state. Now 7-4 since that brilliant start. The Pittsburgh Steelers come into Cincinnati and knock off the Bengals with a dominant fourth quarter. The Steelers' playoff hopes very much alive. Cincinnati had a chance to take control of the AFC North, and the day ends on the wrong end of a 42-21 final for the Bengals. Pittsburgh gets it done. For Dan Fouts, Jenny Dell, the rest of our crew, I'm Ian Eagle saying so long from Cincinnati. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Time now for the Subway postgame.